Hi, I'm Shunpeter Z. Welcome to Zero Point Note, a podcast where we dive into the nature of consciousness and the mysteries of reality, as seen from the zero point field, the source field of everything. I'm from Tokyo, Japan, and English isn't my first language, but something deeper started speaking through me, through my encounters with this field, and the strange consciousness that one day just appeared, calling itself Z. I've come to see the world very differently now, and I'm here to share that journey with you. In the last episode, we dove into the idea that the Bible might actually be an encrypted manual for consciousness evolution. We talked about the birth of the ego, the structure of belief, the death and resurrection of the self, ultimately, the I consciousness, the deep sense of I am, beyond thought and identity. Now, things are starting to come together. In this episode, we're going to introduce what I call the consciousness map. Have you ever thought, why do I feel this way? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? Why is my self-worth always low? The answer often lies in understanding the structure of consciousness itself. Today, we're going to explore three layers of consciousness. The I consciousness, meaning pure awareness. The ego operating system, meaning thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. The heart space, meaning the bridge between the two. We'll break down how these three layers work and how they shape your experience of reality from inside out. Most people are familiar with terms like conscious mind and subconscious mind. Sigmund Freud talked about them, neuroscience studied them, and of course, they're useful models. But from a ZPF perspective, there's a deeper structure. Here's a basic layout. I consciousness, which is pure witnessing, the one who sees without judgment, without identity. The root I am awareness. Ego OS, which is the operating system made of thoughts, beliefs, emotional patterns, reactive loops. Heart space. It is a non-verbal space of integration, intuition, and direct knowing. It connects the ego and the I. Once you get how these work, you begin to understand, why am I experiencing this reality? It's conscious mind, very conscious. We hear conscious mind and think it means the part of us that's aware. But most of the time, it is just thoughts, judgments, memories, sensory input, and imagination. In other words, automated processing. It is like a GUI, or graphical user interface, on a computer. It's not the processor, just what shows up on the screen. But there is something watching that screen. That's the I consciousness. When you feel anger and suddenly realize, oh, I'm angry right now. Who noticed that? That's the I. And the subconscious is powerful. It holds conditioning, corrective beliefs, personal memory, emotional triggers. But in the DPF view, it's like the deep configuration files of your OS, background processes, automatic scripts. Mystics like Neville Goddard taught that if you impress the subconscious with an image while falling asleep, it manifests. And sure, that works. But the real question is, who is doing the imprinting? That's where the I comes in. Ego operating system is thought, belief, emotion trinity. The ego is an useful tool. When it becomes the star of the show, it runs wild. The ego OS is made of thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. These three create a feedback loop. For example, you start with a belief that the belief triggers an emotion. The emotion drives an action. The action leads to a result. And that result strengthens the original belief. This loop is how people end up recreating the same reality. The Kybalion calls this part of me the mental womb, where feelings, thoughts, and reactions are generated. But it also speaks of the I that projects energy into the me. In ZPF terms, the I is the projector, the me is the canvas, and now Here comes the game changer, the heart space. Not just love or feeling, not sentimentality, but a neutral access point to the now. When your awareness drops into the heart, the noise quiets, intuition rises, reality reshapes. It becomes a gateway where you can temporarily bypass the ego operating system. And from that space, choices feel clearer, lighter. The ego usually takes the automatic route. The heart, on the other hand, takes the conscious one. And the switch? It happens right here. Finally, we come back to the one who watches it all, the I. Not your thoughts, not your feelings, not even your beliefs. Just presence, just being. That's where reality truly starts to shift. When the observer changes, the rendered reality changes. I is the energy projector. Me is a creative space. Reality isn't coming from outside, it's generated from within. But the real question is, which version of you is doing the creating? Ego operating system, heart space, or the I? Depending on where you reside within, you see a completely different timeline unfold. Let's explore this deeper in upcoming episodes. We'll also get into the physiology behind the heart and its link to consciousness in a heart series soon. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, see you again on different bandwidths of the field. The version of you that listens next time might be someone new. This is Shunpeter Z, signing off from the 0 Point field. See you in the next shift.